moyoni zvino yava nguva iyi wevayo buda here wava kuedza here tariro yako yava nekujeka tariro yako yava nekujeka.
I welcome you all to this section. In this section, I am going to be your voice. So I'm going to be asking your questions to the panel here. And there are just a few rules to the panelists that you only have a short period of time to answer anything that you want to say. You have a maximum of 1 minute or 1 minute 30 seconds to say what you want to say. So I'll give you a scenario, and then you let the person know what they should do in their life. You give them advice. If what you wanted to say has already been said, feel free to skip, and then you give it to the next person. My first scenario is, I've been in love with a girl, and I've been living with her on campus for the past year. But this year, there's a first year that has caught my attention. I feel that I want this first year. Should I give up on the other girl, or should I keep both of them? That's the first question. We'll start with Dr. Lisa, and then we'll take it round. Dr. Lisa, over to you.
When you read in 1 Corinthians chapter 6, Paul, there's somewhere where he says that when you engage in these sexual activities, you become one with that person. So the moment that when you have slept with a person, whether that person you are married to them or this is a prostitute, a harlot, I think on that verse it's actually when you have slept with a harlot, you have become one. So when you are sleeping with someone, you have been sleeping with this woman, you have been cohabitating with this girl for the past 1 year. According to God, you are already one with that person. So now I do not know how many ones do you want to form from this person. You move from this lady you have been cohabitating with, you now want to move to the next person. I think the best that you can do is to work on your current relationship, because you beautiful ones are yet to be born. You still find beautiful people. Even our married men, they still see beautiful women, but they are committed to us because we are together in this commitment. But so it is important maybe that you build this relationship that you are currently in, because if you start on cheating and moving from one person to the other, it will not end.
Thank you, Dr. Lisa. Elder Nakunada, could we have your position?
Okay. Firstly, I want to say, I think before we address the issue of the potential or incoming young lady, the first issue is there's a problem that you are committing adultery. You are in a sinful arrangement. In order for you to be able to get proper and sound advice, be right first. We don't want to advise a monster. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Elder. Dr. D, you'll pass. Elder Machando, could you help us here?
Maybe the first thing that I will do is I will try and help you. If the lady that you are going out with is no longer of satisfaction to you, you have to leave. That's number one. And you mustn't stay there and pretend to be a Christian because you are not.
Okay.
So by the end of the day, be who you are and do what you know best. And the only problem that we have is these ladies that you are talking about, they overrate you. That's the greatest challenge that we have. where you are seated here and you have got a problem on whether to skip from A to B, and the ladies are all here and they know it and they hear it and they remain silent as though they are chickens going for a slaughter. The problem is not with you, the problem is with the ladies.
Okay, I hope you heard that. Dr. D wants to chip in now. Thank you.
So now that he spoke about the ladies, I want to follow that up. We have problems with ladies, young ladies, single ladies who play wifely roles. That is a problem. And when people break up, for you it's not just a relationship, it's like a marriage. So protect yourselves, young ladies. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. D. My next question is that I'm a young man. I go to church. I shall not mention which church. But I recently discovered that I have a sexually transmitted disease. I am too ashamed to go and get treatment, but I'm still sexually active. With a number of women, and I haven't finished my question. Please understand the scenario. I can't seem to stop being sexually active. I think I may be addicted, but I also feel angry with whoever gave me this disease. Please help me, Dr. Eliza.
Okay, maybe the issue of you being angry with the person who gave you the disease, you've been sleeping around, so you've acquired the disease yourself. You were not given. You've acquired the disease for yourself, by yourself. And we sometimes say that there are certain sins that you may not be punished for, but you'll be punished by. That sin, maybe people will not know. Of course, this sin of sleeping around, of course, God will punish you. But before God punishes you, that sin itself, you'll be punished by it, by contracting these sexually transmitted diseases. So maybe your anger is misdirected to begin with, because you've been sleeping around. Number two, when we read Romans 12 verse 1, it says, I beseech you therefore, brethren, to present yourselves as a living sacrifice. Our bodies, being in good health, it's an act of worship, it's an act of service to God. So you're going to get medical treatment and getting yourself to be in better health, it's an act of worship. When you are not treating your body well, and when you're not, you do not want to go and seek medication and medical help, you are not doing good service to your own body. So Paul appeals to us that we should present our bodies as a living sacrifice. So it's almost like an imperative that we should keep ourselves above all things, like what John says, even as we prosper, you should also prosper in health. So it is an imperative that comes, an injunction that comes from God, that we take care of our body. So it is important that you seek medical help. And now you continue sleeping around with other people, spreading the disease, like you're now actively. I think even if this disease is HIV, it's also punishable by law.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Eliza. Elder Nakunyada.
Okay. I have two issues here. The first issue is with someone who wants to see a problem everywhere, in anything, in everyone, and not in themselves. You are not a saint. You were not given. You went and found it. So please, it's yours. It's not someone else. It's yours. That is why it is on you. And whether you should go to the hospital or not, well, unfortunate mothers, women have a motherly instinct. They will plead with you to go to the hospital. I will stay with it. It will send to the hospital at the right time. Number two, my heart bleeds for the girl child. We have a species of an animal threatened by extinction, yet we have so many poachers out there. So young ladies, when we come and empower you, don't resist. It is the law. We first protect the endangered species, and then we try to see if we can deal with the poachers. If we fail, it's not a problem because the endangered species is protected. In this your scenario, the girl child is the most affected because you are now moving door to door, spreading the same disease, yet you are angry that you got it, and you are not angry that you are distributing it.
Thank you. Thank you, Elder. Dr. D, how can you help this child?
Well, from a medical side of things, I would say sometimes when you fall down or rock bottom, sometimes crisis, they're actually good wake-up calls. Saka, that condition is a good wake-up call. It's a time for you to turn around and straighten your ways and get help, because STIs have got long-term consequences, including blindness, including infertility, including even mental health disorders. Get help.
Thank you, Dr. D. Elder. Okay.
Okay, I'm enjoying the thought process. When you have got sole dealership, you then say the product that I have is only but for me. Unfortunately, what you don't realize is as you are dishing it out, you are also getting some. So by the end of the day, there are also ladies out there who are very bitter and who are dishing it like nobody's business. So by the end of the day, what you realize is you'll be having more than what you bargained for. If you ever thought it is you who has an issue or a bone to chew, then forget it. There are so many bitter people out there like you, and you are going to fight to extinction. The only thing that we can tell you is you better stop and save what is left.
Thank you, Elder. My next question is, my next scenario is, I'm a girl. I feel attracted to many men, and I end up sleeping with a lot of them. I know it's wrong, but I can't seem to stop myself. One thing just leads to another. Please help. Dr. Liza.
I think this person can refer to the presentation that was done by Dr. Machando on addiction and the addiction process, on how to break an addiction. You need therapeutic intervention. We can only refer you to a psychologist. I think you may need to see Dr. Machando after this, if you are open to that.
I'm also wondering whether this person might actually have a history of some abuse of some sort, because in some cases, people who are sexually abused, sexually molested, usually they feel dirty, they feel empty, and they have such a low self-esteem that they feel that giving themselves is making, trying to gain value by giving themselves, which unfortunately accomplishes the opposite. You continue to feel empty, you continue to feel hollow, you continue to feel as if people actually continue to take away from you. So that person surely needs help to be happy with themselves, to accept themselves, so that they can know that they are enough. They don't need to be in a relationship to be whole.
Thank you, Doctor. So the problem is not with men, but with me. Elder Nakunyada.
I would agree with previous speakers, but I would add on to say There's also a spiritual dimension to this type of a problem. Unfortunately, I cannot sugarcoat it. Some have said it's addiction, obsession, what? This could be a demon. And you need deliverance. So many people are hiding behind this term addiction, but being addicted is being possessed.
Elder, I think I'll give you a bit more time so that you expound on what you're talking about. So feel free to go further than the 1 minute.
So when you are addicted, you are enslaved. You no longer decide. The passion that you would have cultivated, either willingly or by accident, is now telling you what to do. This is exactly the same scenario spiritually when we talk of demon possession. You are not simply yours. Some power is taking control of you. I urge you, ladies and gentlemen, to consider spiritual help in most, if not all, of your challenges. So whilst you go through counseling sessions and everything, you need deliverance. And then the other processes will be of greater effect. Otherwise, we'll go in circles trying to fight the same thing using the right methods but at the wrong time. You need to be delivered because this is not a normal situation. So it's not a normal scenario.
Thank you. I think Dr. D wants to come in again.
So if you noted, the first step for dealing with addictions is to acknowledge that this thing is above you and you need help. So we are in agreement. We need help. We need a higher power than ourselves to deal with that.
Yes.
And we pray for the higher power to work even through therapy.
Thank you, Dr. D. Elder?
Maybe an encouragement that I would give to my children is, don't privatize sin, it does not belong to you. This is the reason why a higher power died for you. People struggle in sin. Elders struggle in sin. Pastors struggle in sin. Everyone struggles with sin. Even people of responsibility, they struggle. Everyone has his or her own weakness. When it comes to weakness, that will deny you salvation. You have to take both options. Find value in yourself, take both actions. Do not master it. Let it not master you. Master yourselves. So all I can say is, if you have such a problem, we have people who are ready to help. And some of them we have walked the same road before. Please seek advice. It's not personal. All these gentlemen and gentle ladies that you see in here, they have been to places. But the reason why they are seated here, it is because they realized they had a problem and they worked on it. Unfortunately for you, you want to privatize it, you want to make it your own, you want to protect it, you want to pretend to be what you are not. Just stand up, do the right thing. Where counseling is required, you have counseling. Where prayer is required, be prayed for.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Elder. My next scenario is almost similar to the one that we've just dealt with, but I'll say it again. I've been dumped, I've been double-crossed, but I can't let her go. I can't let her go. She seems to have moved on, but I can't seem to move on and leave her behind. Please help me. Dr. Alisa. Oh, you want to start, Dr. D? You want to start? Elder Nakunyada, you can go first.
Yeah, so the problem here is you are not accepting the reality. Accept that it's over. And the next problem is you find yourself waiting for someone who has already moved on, someone who is already married probably, and what you are simply doing is destroying yourself. It is a bitter pill to swallow. Swallow it anyway, it's good for you. Thank you.
Tough love. Dr. D?
So, when you are in a relationship and you break up, it's painful. Okay? The deeper the relationship, the stronger the love, the more the pain. Number one, courting is not marriage. Even marriages break. Saka iyo relationship yaita seyo yadambuka. The reason why some people don't move on, why they can't accept, it's because they do not understand the process of grieving. So I'll just share with you a few stages for grieving. When you have lost something that you love, canary relationship, it's painful. So the number one thing is to accept, not to accept the pain, but usually when that happens, it feels unreal. It feels as if you want to reverse things so that you go back to older times. It's okay to try, but if it's not working, and especially if the person has moved on, the next step you have to do and to accept is to stay with the pain. So remember the good old days and feel the pain. Cry where there is need to cry. Speak to someone, but allow yourself to feel the pain. That pain is actually healing. If you brush it aside or you want to quickly move on, you find that the pain will surface in unexpected places. So don't quickly say, oh no, it's okay, I can move on, or God is going to be. You need to stay with the pain. Even Jesus cried when he was experiencing pain. So cry if there is need to cry. That's the first thing. And then you will expect that there is going to be emptiness, and then you are going to experience triggers. These are reminders of the good old days. And these triggers will actually occur sometimes even throughout life. If it was here at MSU, when you are done, when you come back again, like the colleagues have come back to MSU, if you used to sit together somewhere, that pain will come. But what we know is that if you allow it to happen and you've cried enough, it will be like a scar, but not a fresh wound. So that's what I would say. And it doesn't mean that when you have broken up with someone, your mind is going to not remember. Forgive and forget, forget and move on. You may move on, but memories will stay. So when you remember, it's not a bad thing. You need to celebrate the times that you're together, but know that you have moved on. And the triggers, pain up and up, if the person gets married, it's going to be painful. Feel the pain, and that's reality. So when you see that person moving on and they are doing well, it's not a sign that you can't move on. It's just a sign that your memory remembers the good old times. So when you have cried enough, you should be able to then pick up another relationship. You should be able to withdraw your energies and reinvest them in the other person, but only when you have grieved enough. It's okay to grieve.
Thank you, Dr. D. Dr. Lisa, are you ready now?
Okay. Jesu paakamuka, madzimai vakaenda kunomutsvaga kuguva kwake. Ngirozi dzimwe dzakabvunza dzikati, munotsvagirei vapenyu kuvakafa? Tongotarisa maybe in reverse. Munotsvagirei relationship yakafa pavapenyu? Relationship yakatofa? Chizvigamuchira kuti relationship yakatofa.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Lisa. Elder?
indobvumirana hangu nevese vachitaura kuti izvo kunyange anga ari breadwinner mariro ake haazoiti nekusingaperi. Munhu osvika pakuti munhu anovigwa musi wechitatu munoviga modzoka mozochema henyu. Chandingangoda kukuudza ndechekuti izvo there are so many fish in the sea that can make you happy. Kungoti uri kunonoka kubata chirauro zvinenge zvida kuitika. Zvinenge zvichida kuitika ndezvekuti chiti cheme opedza kuchema oenda pamakumbo aJesu saMary opiwa a new lease of life. Ndoda kukuudza chinhu ichi nhasi kuti vanhu vakakukanganisira ucharamba uchivaona, asi iwe ukada kuvaona nemwoyo ucharamba uchirwadziwa. Izvi ingoripo ndeyekuti ingoseka kuti asi ndaipengawo kutarisira kuti muchero uyu ubereke iwe usingabereke, and you move on with life. Haikona kuramba wakapaka bhazi rako pasina makastoma.
Thank you, Elder. Thank you very much, Elder. Do you want to add some more?
Yes,
Okay.
I wanted to say, so when you look at people who commit crimes of passion, some of these will be the challenge. If you can't move on, you then expect the next person not to move on. So please, accept the reality, pray to God, find help, so that you won't be visited with other thoughts. Because munhu iye acharamba aripo, achitorarama iwe uripo, achitofara, achitoita vana kana matwins, achitoita muchato. Unozogona kupedzisira wamuroyi simply because watadza kuita move on. Kumbira simba kuna Mwari and move on. Actually, vanhu vari munomu ukasangana nevanhu 4-3 vacho vakatomborambwa. Saka hazvina kutanga newe. Tarisa vakatorambwa asi vakatosimba vari munomu, they are glowing, vakatochena. Zvinoreva kuti there is life after kurambwa. Saka
Amen to that. Amen. Life after kurambwa. Okay, the next scenario is, I came to uni with clearness of purpose, but I became involved with a married man. This man is paying for my upkeep, which my parents cannot do, but he also keeps me very busy, and my grades have been slipping because I go out with him a lot. When he has business trips, I go with him. When he wants to take me out, I'm always available for him. I actually had to repeat my current year. I know he's bad for me, but I don't know how to let him go because I need the money and I have set a different standard for myself. Dr. Lisa, you want to start, or Elder, you want to start? You want to start, Elder?
Rega ndikupe scenario iri beyond reason. Zvinoita here kuti oita business rako rekuchengeta makonzo omba watenga kiti.
Elder vatopedza so. Okay, and the explanation. Dr. Ndivarira explanation.
Chokwadi chiripo ndechekuti tikade kuve logical and honest. You are so clear that the two cannot coexist. Iwe handisi kumbuza kuti uda kubhadharirwa fees yekuti ipa uchafuira. Saka una problem yefees iwewe because chikoro paunongopedza unenge usina futi. Saka business rako rakatobroka kubva pekutanga. Kana uri panapa uchida kutoita zvechikoro zviri nani utengese kiti kuti makonzo abereke aite sei awande. Asi as long as kiti iripo usafamba uchitaura kuti ndine business remakonzo, hautori na business remakonzo raunaro.
Saka Katsapa is the married man. Elder Nakunyada, you want to come in?
Yes, I also want to say we have a situation where other things are used to justify this kind of arrangement. But when you then look deep into the arrangement, you then see that there is no benefit that you purport to have compromised yourself into the situation. So, uri kungofa kwese. And at the end, you apana chao chawina. This married man is already married. They will not marry you. If even if they are just using you. That is why you are not degree actually. That's all I can say.
In fact, kupomba bora rineburi.
Okay. You want to come in, Dr.
Yes, and unfortunately, these relationships, people look at them as, oh, I'm going to just have a relationship. Unfortunately, you see these things following you throughout life. There are chances, there are high chances that you will not have any relationship, that you will not be married, because that person will stalk you, because they are entitled to you, they feel like they have made you, and yet they will not want to own you like fully, openly, but just stalking you and making sure that they are ruining whatever plans you have. So you want to think of the long-term consequences for that arrangement. Trying to get an education at the expense of your whole life. It is the expense of your whole life.
Thank you, Dr. D. Dr. Liza?
I think what this girl needs to do is to make things right with God. Because argona solution yake ye school fees nechi iri murume oyu. Ndiye wargona kuti this man is my solution yekuchengetwa ku university. Of which when you are looking at this, degree uchashaya, pamwe chaita HIV, pamwe chaita SDA, uchaita numbu, uchatadza futi kurorwa. So focusing, you need to change your focus. Come back to the drawing board. Wototanga ukama wakopachana mwari ndo vachakupa simba, because you already know that this thing is wrong. Because it's not debatable from what you have written. You already know that this thing is wrong, but maybe you're just asking to find, because we are not going to tell you that continue with the relationship, because already you know it's wrong. So maybe coming back kutongoti ukama wakuna mwari ndo unotoda kufix, because you are thinking my solution out of uni is through having a relationship with married men, but you are going to lose all the things that are valuable to you. If you put your trust in God, there are so many people who have gone through university, achieved from abject poverty, and God sustained them. You are not sustained by married men who university. Mwari ndiye anosustaina vanhu. Psalm says, I was young, David says, I was young and now I'm old, but I've never seen the righteous forsaken or begging for bread. Why you are looking for things from married men is you have lost your trust in God. So you need to change your focus. Tiriko vanhu vakawanda vakatopedza university vasina kuchengetwa nevarume vevanhu. So you need to look at God. I think that's what we can say to this young lady.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Liza. My next scenario is, my favorite hobby is watching pornographic material. I do this alone in my room, and my social life is suffering. I find that even my sexual life is also suffering. How can I get help? Maybe Dr. D, you might want to start there from a clinical perspective.
So what I would like to say about...
My students. Yeah.
Okay, so I wanted to say that there is a lot of scientific evidence that sexual issues have a huge impression on the brain. I spoke about brain changes that happen when you watch things that are addictive, like pornography. So there are a number of things to that. Have you noticed that when people design adverts, they will include a sexual component? If they are going to advertise a car, for example, you see a semi-naked woman, which is suggestive. The reason is because the brain catches sexual issues very fast. If you are watching even a movie or anything, if it's 3 hours and there's just seconds of something sexual, that sticks to your brain for years. It's because of the power of sex on the brain. And the other aspect is that what you see as pornography, those things are not real. Though whatever expression that people give, whatever they are doing is not real, it's not practical. Those people are acting, they are actually at work to act, to convince you. The way Jack Chan will act, the way whoever your movie stars act, and you've actually seen behind the scenes for when people are creating movies that those things are not real. They are enhanced by sounds, by pictures, by images, etc., etc. So some of the things that we now see, the problems that people present with, is dissatisfaction with the real thing. Because real sex and pornography are completely different. So you find that your relationship is going to suffer. And again, because this is addiction, you continue to want more and harder, hardcore pornography. It continues to get worse and worse. So what you need is to get treatment for that. I think Taurama steps, recognizing that you, at some point, you no longer have power over your brain and your body, that you need a higher power and you need to go through proper treatment. But just a few comments. Some of the things that you want to look at are what are the places that bring out that the desire for that? What are the people? What are the thoughts? What is it that's triggering it? What is it that's keeping the behavior on? For you to see how you might, some of the ways to try and get help out of it. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. D. If I could ask the rest of the comments to be very quick, because we're almost out of time. Elder, you want to come in?
I need to hangu ma scenario.
Okay.
Takambodena tiri kubhora. Ndobva vamwe vanditi hanzi usatize. Hatinodhila nayo. Saka vanhu vatakadena pa vakasvika vanga vari varume vakasimba. Vamwe vangu mbva vaona kuti varume vakasimba, inini vakangonditi uri patight. Ndobva ndatongoziva kuti nyaya yacho yangu. Ende chisala domboisa pasi ombofamba kana waziva kuti hawiwi. Ndozvatingangoudza kuti ngatimborega kutaura kuti addiction pornography. Ngatingoudza mufana kuti ari patight. Ende iyi haibude kana asina kuwana simba risiri mari. Ende izvi ndiri kutaurira kune vasati vapinda kuti chimba hachina door, hachina window, hachibudike zvekumhanya. Vamwe vanoda kutobuda varikutadza kubuda, asi kune mwe vari patight. Ndosaka tiri kuparidza Jesu wamuri kudai kuramba.
Thank you, Elder. Elder Nakunada.
Yeah, I would say the person needs deliverance. Yeah, you need to go to church, any church close to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Elder. Dr. Eliza.
I'll just say a verse where Job says, I've made a covenant with my eyes that I may not look at a maiden lustfully. I think issue here, pornography, zvinototsvaga kuti munhu make a covenant with yourself, make a covenant with God, right? that I will not look at any of these images, like the process yataurwa na Dr. D nezvese zvataurwa izvi. It starts with you making a covenant with your own eyes that I will not visit all these pornographic websites. You delete, you identify the triggers, you all that zvatataura, but make a covenant with your eyes and God will deliver you.
Thank you very much. In closing, because we have run out of time, could I have each one of you, every one of you as panelists, just one word of advice on relationships for the youngsters? Do you have any word of advice to the youngsters on their relationships? Just one word of advice and then we close. We can start with you, Dr. D.
Okay, I would like to encourage each one of you, particularly the young ladies, to invest in yourself so that you don't have to depend on a relationship for your value. Yakapera nguva yekuti tinogarira vana. Iye zvino izvi vanhu vakachenjera anochengeta vana, anozvichengeta iye, and not wait to be taken care of by someone. Invest in yourself. And gentlemen, please respect your ladies. Thank you.
Thank you. Elder?
Ina ndingangoisa scenario yakadai yekuti une vana kumba nemukadzi unoda mapeti wombowanzi nemurungu wako akuenda kuUK ndine mbwa dzangu 3 dzakatokura ndogona kukusira iwe uri kubasa ofara woti ndai munosiya kumba. Handizivi kuti unonopinda sei kana waenda kumba, ende mukadzi paachati imbwa dzenyu kuti dzinokuziva here kana kuti muchanetsana nembwa, zvekuti iwe uchagara panze vana vakazvivharira mumba. Zvandoda kukudzai vana vangu ndezvekuti ndo zvakangofanana nezvamuri kuti marelationship mazhinji makeja makavaka ngoti hamuchagona kubuda. Imbwa dzamakatenga mukaisa muyadhi mukazadza imakungowokera upenyu nepanze uchirwadziwa kuti ndopinda mumba mune mbwa dzako dzawakavharira imomo dzawakanhingirikira. Iwewe chinokunetsa chii nekurarama uri wega pane kuunza problem? Iyo nezvi une maproblems emedzi wagara haudzigone, une maproblems chirungu wagara hausi kugona, une imwe kuti problem hope yawaudza muupenyu. Marelationship are not an investment, it's a part-time job rinotozvinetserawo zvaro riri kutotadzwa nababa vako namai vako vari kungoita izvozvo chete.
Thank you, Elder. Elder Naknada, any last word?
I would say, stop looking for the right person, be the right person. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, Elder. Dr. Alaisa, any last words?
Okay, maybe my message is to the young girls. Musada soft life sema konyi.
So there we are. That's the last word from our panelists. And I would urge you all to keep your questions coming, but please stick to the truth. We can only help you if you tell us the truth of your situation. If you try and sugarcoat it and make it appear better than it is, you are not going to get any help. Face reality, and then we'll be able to get you to access the correct help that you need. Thank you. That is all from our panelists.
Thank you very much.
Days are filled with sorrow and care. Hearts are lonely and grief. Burdens are lifted at Calvary. Jesus is very near. Burdens are lifted at Calvary. Calvary. your worry and fear. Burdens are lifted at Calvary. Jesus is very near. Burdens are lifted at Calvary. Calvary, Calvary. Burdens are lifted at Calvary. My Jesus is very near. Troubled soul, the Savior can see every heartache and tear. Burdens are lifted at Calvary. Jesus is very near. Burdens are lifted at Calvary. Calvary, Calvary. Oh, burdens are lifted at Calvary. My Jesus is very near.
toda kumuchingamidza mose mukati